Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you up to date on Ridgecrest Police responding to shots fired, update on the Howard Code Enforcement case, a missing couple from Palmdale located in Ridgecrest, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
I'm Tom Winnick, and here's what's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Saturday, May 16th, the Ridgecrest Police Department responded to a call for service for negligent discharge of a firearm within city limits. Officers were dispatched to the 300 block of North Rabala Street regarding a shooting. Upon arrival, officers learned that a suspect shot several rounds from a firearm into the air. Officers are currently searching for Ray Segala and Rederick Ryan Della Pena as people of interest in this case. One arrest in connection with the shooting has been made, but the investigation continues. Persons of interest are Rederick Ryan Della Pena, 20-year-old Ridgecrest resident, and Ray Bright Segala, 18-year-old Ridgecrest resident. The police department is now saying that they have these people in custody, but they would like the public help if you have any information. If you have any information in connection to this incident, please contact the Ridgecrest Police Department at 760-499-5100. In news about the Dale Howard nuisance abatement case, last week the court-appointed receiver went out to inspect the properties to see how the cleanup was coming along. When he arrived, he saw that there was a half-burned-down single-family home. It is reported that the home had a fire many years ago. It was never repaired by Howard. As the receiver attempted to inspect the property, he noticed the home smelled terrible, and that there were about 100 peacocks living in the home. He was also able to determine that Howard's daughter, Darlene Howard, was living in the burned-out structure. There was no city power to the property, but a generator had been hooked up and a power cord was running into the building for power. We contacted the Ridgecrest Police Department and were told that they had heard from the receiver inspector that they had found totally unlivable conditions. The daughter was ordered to vacate the property in 2 days. The receiver has determined that the home probably is not even repairable. However, Howard will be given a chance to repair the home before the receiver orders it to be torn down. The receiver also has concerns of asbestos in the structure. He has ordered for asbestos testing to be done as soon as possible. Overall, the receiver states Howard has been cooperative with the cleanup and done a lot on his own. It appears all the valuable stuff has been removed. Howard has been allowed to stay in his own home during the process. However, the receiver says that now as they get down to the serious stuff, like building cleanup and peatfall removal, he is not being as cooperative. The receiver says Howard has to find new homes for them soon, or he will have them removed. So while the great strides have been made, there is still a lot to get done. Last week, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department had announced and asked for the public's help in locating Leonard and Helen Hagberg from Palmdale. They were reported missing by their son last Monday. They were last seen 11 p.m. last Monday in Palmdale. Last Thursday evening, they were located here in Ridgecrest. They were unharmed. They were turned over to their son, who has taken them to stay in Arizona. In news from Sacramento, last week we reported that Assemblywoman Shannon Grove introduced AB 1405 to close two of the largest, most expensive and abuse-ridden development centers, Fairview and Sonoma. Grover said she appreciated one aspect of Governor Brown's revised budget plan released last week, as it included a proposal to close the state's remaining development centers plagued with well-documented cases of abuse, rape, and neglect against residents. For the last few months, Grove has met with legislators, high-level governor aides, and many advocacy groups, encouraging them to support her plan. Grove will continue to advocate for the protection of the over 1,000 developmentally disabled individuals still located within these archaic institutions as they transition into less expensive and safer community-based programs over the next several years. These facilities need to be closed, and now. There is an official timeline in place to accomplish that, said Assemblywoman Shannon Grove. Going forward, we can focus on helping this fragile population thrive in a community setting. Part of Grove's advocating efforts involve personally meeting with a dozen key legislative leaders and governor officials and showing them a short documentary called In Jennifer's Room, produced by investigative journalists from California Watch. This video tells the story of a mother's attempt to protect her disabled daughter from physical and sexual abuse. while living at the Sonoma Center. The powerful video brought some to tears. The federal government has already decided to pull $43 million in annual funding from the Sonoma Developmental Center for its systemic failure to provide adequate health care services and protection for its residents. The governor's budget plan proposes shutting down the Sonoma facility by 2018. It also proposes to shut the Fairview Development Center down and the non-secure treatment portion of the Porterville Developmental Center in 5 years. The only issue the governor's proposal failed to address was the reallocation of over $500 million currently spent annually to run these developmental centers. Grove's bill proposed giving a portion of this operational budget to help the continuing growing population of individuals with developmental disabilities. Currently, over 250,000 people living in community-based settings. State funding for those within community-based programs has not seen an increase in years. Grove's legislation, AB 1405, is currently under the purview of the Assembly Human Services Committee and the Assembly Committee on Accountability and Administrative Review. The measure is expected to be heard in the committee the beginning of June. In other police news, this is National Police Week, and KZGN gives a shout-out to our local Ridgecrest Police Department. Police Chief Ron Strand said, with a 24/7 news cycle, what happens in Baltimore and Ferguson has an effect on law enforcement throughout the country. Locally, the City Council honored the Ridgecrest Police Department for their efforts and remembered those fallen in the county, state, and the nation. One incident can affect trust in a community for a long time, Strand said. So we're careful to stay engaged and do our best to reach out to the community. Several things they do on a continual basis is the School Resource Officer Program. They help manage the Teen Court and Neighborhood Watch. Strand said they introduced the Coffee with a Cop program in the last couple of years, where an officer posts a day they'll be at a coffee open house. Strand described it as an effort to make themselves available to meet and chat with the general public and to see citizens in a different light. It's also for the public to see the police officers in a different light as well. He said, most of our contact is regarding issues and not enough in contact with the average citizen. We're generally responding to calls for service, traffic enforcement, barking dogs, and domestic violence. So we're looking to reach a broader experience spectrum. RPD is working on such a program to reach out to churches for a time of coffee and conversation to get to know each other better. RPD is in the process of starting the Citizens Academy. Details on the Academy and application process will be posted on Facebook soon. The program projected start is August, with the objective to reduce the big mystery that sometimes results from media sensationalism. The course will be a 10-week, once a week for 2 hours. There will be no cost. The police department looks forward to this opportunity to engage with average citizens. Strand said, we train officers well and do the best we can. He said he feels this community recognizes and appreciates that. It has been announced that DART, Desert Area Resource and Training, has been awarded a 3-year accreditation for their programs. The programs identified are, first, Child and Youth Services, second, Community Employment Services, 3, Family Service for Children and Adolescents, 4, Organizational Employment Services, 5, Supported Living Services. This is a nationally recognized award. The national organization did a total on-site inspection of services. They rated a 99.7 score. DART is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with offices at 203 East Ridgecrest Boulevard. They have been providing services to the Indian Wells Valley since 1961. For more information on DART, go to dartontarget.org or call 760-375-9787. Stay tuned for more news out of the Ridgecrest Police Department when we come back. In Ridgecrest Police Department news, they provided the following release. Click It or Ticket campaign starts today. Ridgecrest Police Department will show zero tolerance. Once again, Ridgecrest Police Department is reminding motorists to click it or ticket. As part of the National Seatbelt Enforcement Campaign, law enforcement agencies around the country will be stepping up enforcement May 18th through 31st. This includes one of the busiest travel weekends of the year that kicks off the summer season. Every day, unbuckled motorists are losing their lives in motor vehicle crashes, said Sergeant Myers of the Ridgecrest Police Department. As we approach Memorial Day weekend and the summer vacation season, we want to make sure people are doing the one best thing they can and save them in a crash: buckling up. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, nearly half of the 21,000 passenger vehicle occupants killed in crashes in 2013 were unrestrained. At night, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that number soared to 59% of those killed. That's why one focus of the Click It and Ticket campaign will be nighttime enforcement. Participating law enforcement agencies will be taking a no-excuses approach to seatbelt law enforcement, writing citations day and night in California. The minimum penalty for a seatbelt violation is $161. California statistics reveal that 500 unrestrained vehicle occupants died in 2013. Almost twice as many males were killed in crashes as compared to females. Of the males killed in crashes in 2013, more than half, 54%, were unrestrained. For females killed in crashes, 41% were not buckled up. If you ask the family members of those unrestrained people who were killed in crashes, they'll tell you they wish their loved ones had buckled up, added Sergeant Myers. And the bottom line is that seatbelts save lives. If these enforcement crackdowns get people's attention and gets them to buckle up, then we've done our job. In Ridgecrest Animal Shelter news, the fine folks out there want to remind everyone that May is Adopt a Dog Month. You can adopt any dog for only $45 this month. That includes the spay or neuter, current vaccinations, microchip, health exam, and a license. The shelter also reported that in last month's adoption campaign, 38 dogs and cats found new homes. This is sponsored by the Indian Wells Valley Humane Society. In food news, did you ever wonder what egg carton lingo means? Well, KZGM field reporter Tanya Pyle decided to find out. Egg industry cartons deserve scrutiny for meaningful terms. Decoding references range from happy eggs to natural omega-3 organic, with sizes from peewee to jumbo and colors coded brown, white, blue, speckled, or otherwise. When baking, the size of an egg can make a difference. Most recipes call for large eggs. Large eggs weigh about 2 ounces each and contain approximately 3 tablespoons of liquid. Extra large eggs weigh about 2 1/4 ounces and have about 4 tablespoons of liquid. Medium eggs weigh about 1 3/4 ounces and small eggs weigh about 1 1/2 ounces. The peewee eggs are seldom sold in the retail market, and usually they're sold industrially for a lesser price per weight. The color of the shell depends on the kind of chicken, but the egg inside is the same. There are no differences. The color of the yolk depends on how the chickens are fed. Chickens fed plenty of yellow-orange plant pigments called xanthophyllis, which gets deposited in the yolk. Hen mashes containing yellow corn or alfalfa meal yield medium yellow yolks. Hens eating wheat or barley yield lighter-colored yolks. USD-graded eggs are cleaned, fresh, and rate the white and the yolk quality. Grades AA eggs are nearly perfect with thick whites, and yolks are free from defects. Grade A egg whites are slightly less firm. Grade B egg whites are thinner and yolks flatter. Omega-3 eggs are fed vegetarian plant material, grains, flaxseed, and seaweed that converts into omega-3 deposits in the egg. It would take 10 eggs claiming 32 milligrams of DHA omega-3 to equal 1 fish oil pill, and 30 eggs to equal the omega-3 in 1 pharmaceutical-grade fish oil pill. Store sales terms such as happy and natural to delightful or adorable eggs. These marketing terms have no value. Organic means each egg is produced in a cage or range-free environment and fed non-genetically modified organic vegetarian foods. Cage-free means hens are kept indoors but are barn roaming or aviary. Free-range means eggs yielded from hens permitted to roam outdoors at least part of the day. So, that's the scoop on eggs and terminology. So now if someone could just really decide which came first, the chicken or the egg, then I'd be happy. Happy shopping from KZGN. Now in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's local gas prices for your information. Well, since Friday, prices locally and abroad have not changed a lot, but they are still creeping upward. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.59 to $4.29, Lancaster from $3.69 to $4.19, The LA Valley area, 379 to 399, and the Bishop area, 360 to 399. We have 5 stations coming in at the 359 figure. The cheapest price in the Lancaster area and all areas we monitor are more than Ridgecrest. Thank you, Ridgecrest gas stations. Tune with us 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally and fill up here to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay any sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Stay tuned for weather and sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. The National Weather Service is forecasting a risk of severe weather Monday evening across parts of the southern plains, mainly across West Texas and the Texas Panhandle and the eastern New Mexico. Large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes are possible. Temperatures across the region today: Massachusetts came in at 55, Chicago 75, the Carolinas 83, Arkansas 75, Kansas 60, New Mexico 69, Idaho 57, San Francisco came in at 55, and LA was at 63. But for us in the IWV tonight, it will be partly cloudy with a low around 52, west wind 5 to 15 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. Chance of showers and thunderstorms 20%. Tuesday will be sunny with a high near 80, west-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 54, southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday will be mostly sunny with a high near 80, calm wind 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 53, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Thursday will be mostly sunny with a high near 77, south wind 5 miles per hour. And Thursday night, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy with a low around 54, southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. That is your forecast, and back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Now let's go to Tom Heck for the sports.
And a very pleasant Monday afternoon to everybody. Let's start locally. Burroughs High School baseball playoffs will be announced today. We'll find out where Burroughs will play and at what time. More than likely, they will be at home. They were co-champs in the league. Probably a Thursday or a Friday game for Burroughs High School baseball. They finished with an 8-2 record in the league, and overall with a record of 18-5. A great season for John Bradley in his 4th year. Let's see how far the Burroughs can get in the playoffs. Softball chances aren't very good. They got in the playoffs, but we'll see today there is a slight chance of a wild card. If they did get that, they'd be on the road somewhere either Wednesday or Tuesday of this week. All right, the NBA, the Clippers are done. It's a tough break for Chris Paul and a lot of other guys trying to get that first ring. They had a 3-1 lead over Houston, but couldn't hold on to it. They end up losing in 7 games. They lose yesterday 113 to 100. Fairly close game throughout. Then Houston pulled away in the 4th quarter. They'll have to look back to Game 6 when they played in LA and they had a 19-point lead. With 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, they were outscored last Thursday night at Staples 40-15. That was just unbelievable. All right, Golden State and Houston, they'll start that tomorrow night, the Western Conference Finals. In the East, it'll be the Cavaliers and the Hawks. The Hawks beat Washington Friday night in the nation's capital to win that series in 6. Cleveland beat Chicago, also in 6, to win that one. So Wednesday night for the East, Tuesday night for the West. Winners meet for the NBA championship. All right, hockey, the Ducks win. They beat the Blackhawks. They lead that series 1-0. Western Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup. In the East, it's the Rangers and the Tampa Lightning for that conference championship, with the winners playing for the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Ducks trying to get their 2nd crown. All right. Baseball, the Dodgers, fairly good weekend. They won yesterday 1-0. They shut out Colorado. Both teams combined for only 6 hits in that game. The Angels did fairly well in Baltimore. They won 2 of 3. They lost yesterday 3-0. Derek Richard pitched very well. Came out in the 8th inning, and the Orioles scored a couple in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the Angels take 2 out of 3. The Phillies beat the D-backs, the Astros. The Houston Astros sweep the Blue Jays of Toronto in Houston. Now, the real story is, though, they lead the AL West by 5.5 games. They're 12 games over 500. Now, this is a team that's been in the basement the last 3 years. I mean, the real basement. Way below everybody else. The worst record in baseball. All right, the Royals beat the Yankees. They shut them out. Pittsburgh beats the Cubs. They stop a 6-game winning streak for the Cubs. But I'll tell you what, the Cubs, they are 8 games over 500, best start they've had in a long, long time. The A's lose again. Chicago beats them. The A's are at the bottom of the West right now. Seattle shuts out Boston. Mike Paxton with a shutout in that one. Nationals are crushing the baseball. They beat up San Diego 10-5. They win 3 of 4 down south. And the Marlins lose again. And this time it costs their manager, Mike Redmond, his job. They fire Redmond after 2 seasons plus. They get swept by Atlanta yesterday. It was a 1-hit shutout against the Marlins. Well, that's your sports for this Monday afternoon. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. I'd like to close in saying that I had a gentleman in Guns for Us the other day say that he had been watching the news on KZGN. He wanted to compliment me and the staff on doing what's right for the station. That type of feedback is greatly appreciated. All of us at KZGN TV know you have a choice in what you watch for news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay with us for a short video of a mama duck frantic about her ducklings caught in a sewer drain. It does have a happy ending.